Okay, so here we go on quiz number 4. The first problem, we see we have fractions, and so we got to multiply through by the common denominator. So what's the common denominator? Well, you got to multiply those two denominators together. 3 times 2 is 6. So 6 is the common denominator that we'll multiply all three fractions by. Now, what do we do from here? We cross cancel. 3 goes into 6 2 times, and that 2 multiplies what's left over. 2z minus 4. And then 2 goes into 6 3 times, and that 3 goes boom, boom, plus 3z minus 12 equals 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 1 is 2. So you see we cross cancel and multiply what's left over. 2z and 3z, 5z minus 16 is 2. To finish solving for z there, we add 16. So that gives us what? 5z is 18. Last step, divide by 5. 18 fifths. Okay, so number 2 on quiz 4. How do we handle these? First thing is we're going to have to factor that denominator. Do it over here on the side. What multiplies to be 12 adds to be 4. So multiplies to be minus 12 actually. Adds to be plus 4. What times what is 12? 2 times 6. Sign in the bottom goes on the bigger. Minus 2 plus 6. Multiplies to be negative 12. Adds to be plus 4. So that means this is going to be 4x minus 1 over x minus 2, x plus 6. Okay, so now we're going to multiply through by the common denominator, which is both of these, x minus 2, x plus 6, right? For a common denominator, you need one of every type. So x minus 2, x plus 6 in the left, x minus 2, x plus 6 in the middle, and x minus 2, x plus 6 in the right. So now we cross cancel whatever we can and multiply the leftovers. So these both cancel, and we just bring down the 4x minus 4. Here the x plus 6 cancels, and we have 2x minus 2. Here the x minus 2's cancel, and we have 2x plus 6. So distribute, 4x minus 4 plus 2x minus 4 is 2x plus 12. Gather like terms, 4x and 2x is 6x, minus 4 is minus 8, 2x plus 12. Now we finish solving. We got x on opposite sides, so subtract 2x from both of them. We get 4x minus 8 is 12. To get x alone, add the 8. So bring it over here. 4x is 20. Last step, divide by 4. X is 5 is the answer. Okay, number 3 here. We're looking at this problem. Let me rewrite it. D equals G plus P over T. All right, so it's a bunch of letters, but the rules remain the same. Look at this. We have a denominator. What do we always do when we have a denominator? We multiply through by that common denominator, everybody. So I multiply T in the left, T in the middle, T in the right, and here it cancels. So what do we get? TD equals TG plus P. Okay, so now trying to solve for T. In fact, let me take this to a fresh screen. So this is number 3. So D equals G plus P over T. D equals G plus P over T. So take it from the top again here. Multiply through by T. multiply through by t, multiply through by t, cancels right there. So TD is TG plus P. Now, here's the trick. We're trying to get T alone. They said 4T, like get T alone. T is right, and this term has a T, and that term has a T. So what do you do when it's in two places? T in two places, or the letter you want, letter in two places, get them on the same side, step one, factor out the letter, and divide. So I'm going to grab this TG term and move it over here. So it'll be TD minus TG is P, right? When things jump over the equal sign to the other side, the sign in front of them switches. Now, that's step one, get them on the same side. Step two, factor out the T. See that trick? Step two, factor out the T and divide. Divide by the D minus G. D minus G, gonzo. T's alone, it's P over D minus G. Make sure when you type that into Math Excel, or My Math Lab, all caps, right? Because it's case sensitive, and all these letters were uppercase. Sometimes they give you lowercase letters, and you have to be consistent with that too. So all caps on these. So number 4 here says a human factors expert recommends that there be 9 square foot of floor space for every student in class. How much for 80 students? So 9 feet for every 1 student. That's square feet for student. You don't have to write in the units, but it might help. 9 square feet for every 1 student equals how many square feet for 80 students? How do you solve that? Cross multiply. So 9 times 80 is 1 times x, 720. You might have just read it and just known, hey, I just got to multiply 9 times 80 because there's 80 students and each one gets 9 square feet. And that's fine. That's totally fine. All right. Okay, number 5. I'm going to do number 5 down here. So number 5. Marcus and Tony work for the same company. Marcus lays the slab in 4 hours, Tony in 7 hours. Okay, so for whenever this is a working together, so whenever you have a working together problem, it's 1 over A plus 1 over B is 1 over together. So that'd be 1/4 plus 1/7 is 1 over x. I'm trying to find out how long it takes them together. Now, how am I going to solve that equation? Got to multiply through. Whenever we have fractions, we've learned that you have to multiply through by the common denominator, which is all these things multiplied together. 4 times 7 is 28, times x is 28x. So what do I do with it? 28x to the left, 28x in the middle, 28x on the right. Everybody gets one. And then cross cancel and multiply what's left over. 4 goes into 28 7 times, that's 7x. 7 goes into 28 4 times, that's 4x. X cancels x, 28. That's 11x is 28. Divide by 11. X is 28/11. Now careful, that's not the answer to the problem. That's the together, right? That's where the x was. It was how long together. So this is hours together. So it'll take Marcus and Tony 28/11 hours together to get the job done. Now, they get paid $66 per hour as a team. If both work on the job, it's $66 per hour. So what will the labor estimate, what should the labor estimate be? How much will it cost? Well, so that means we just need to take this many hours, 28/11 hours, times $66 per hour for them as a team to find out how much they're going to cost. How do I solve that? Put this over 1, 11, cross cancel, 11 into 66. 6 times, use your calculator, 6 times 28. 120 and 48, $168. That's how much it's going to cost them, because they'll spend 28/11 hours working together, and they make $66 per hour. So multiply by 66, get $168. So number 6 here, last one, it's a travel one. Distance equals rate times time. That's the formula we always use for travel. So let's do that. And pilot can go 430 miles. We have the with the wind and the against the wind. How does that always work? Remember, it's always the plane speed plus the wind. When you're with it, it adds to your speed, and the plane speed minus the wind when you're against it, it subtracts from your speed. Those go in the middle underneath R, the rate, the speed. So 432 miles, that's the distance with the wind. And 321 miles, 320 miles is the distance against the wind. Find the speed of the wind if the pilot's speed is in still air is 235. So that means the plane speed right here, cross out the P. It's 235. Cross out the P. It's 235. Okay. So the only letter is the W. What do I do for those T boxes? Remember from the homework, we have to go take the little formula, D equals R times T. Take it on the side here. You want T, right? We want these two T boxes. Solve this little equation for T, because that's the relationship up here. T is D over R, so the T box is the D over the R. So this will be 432, the D box, over the R box, over 235 plus W. Tracking with that. And then this one is 320 over 235 minus W, right? D box over R box. So we got the two T boxes now. So what? What do we do with them? Same amount of time. Same amount of time. So that means this and this must be equal. 432. Whoops, I'm kind of getting scribbly here. 432 over 235 plus W must equal 320 over 235 minus W. So let's go to a fresh screen and solve that for W. Alright, how do we solve that? Diagonal, diagonal, cross multiply. 432 times 235 minus W is 320 times 235 plus W. There it is. Distribute that. Those are some big ugly numbers. Let's try it out. I'm getting 101,520 minus 432W, boom, boom. I'm getting 75,200 plus 320W. So how do we solve this equation for W? I'm going to add the 432W to both sides, gonzo. And so what do I get? Add those up, what's that going to be? 752W. Bring that guy down. And we're getting close. So now subtract 75,200. This is a hard problem. So then we get, 752W. Bring it down. Subtract those. I don't know, was it 26,320, I think. And then last step, divide by 752. Definitely going to use my calculator for that. So 26,320 divided by 752, 35. The wind speed is 35 miles an hour. There we go.